All right, welcome back, everybody. Just about 15 minutes at the top of the hour here, and Iran is promising to fight any future U.S. sanctions on it or its trading partners. Just on Monday, Secretary Scott Bessent unveiled a sanctions package called Operation Economic Outcast, and it would target additional Iranian industries in any country Iran does trade with. However, he did not specify which countries could be impacted or when those new sanctions would go into effect. For more, let me bring back in Steve Yates. He's a senior research fellow for China and national security at the Heritage Foundation, and he also previously served as deputy national security advisor for Vice President Cheney. Steve, welcome back. Let me just start with sound really quickly, because Secretary Bessent says nobody is immune to this.
An economic engagement of any kind with this murderous regime will expose those responsible to the full reach of American power.
But as I just mentioned, the secretary didn't give a deadline for compliance and just said we don't have infinite patience with this. What do you think the logic was behind that?
Well, there are a lot of messages the secretary and other members of the team. He mentioned coordination with the State Department, and the president has spent part of yesterday and probably part of today making some important phone calls. Some of these warnings and requests for cooperation are going to be given quietly behind the scenes. Some may be more public. I think what's fundamentally different, and that people really need to understand, is these are basically economic nuclear weapons. The access to the U.S. financial market, the dollar-denominated system, is life or death for a lot of the major trading partners around the world. It's been used before, somewhat limited. This is, I think, a very, very serious move meant to cripple and defeat the regime, not just bring them to the negotiating table. And that's a change of message and maybe strategy.
And will it? I mean, do you think this actually changes their behavior?
It may not change the behavior of the remnants of the regime. If you just take what they say and they do as an indicator, they have engaged in very irresponsible rhetoric and behavior over recent months and including recent days. However, this is a very significant escalation. Inflation is already catastrophic inside Iran at about 66%, and their currency is about 2 million to the dollar. So this will further isolate them, and it puts that outcast word into operation of cutting off all international financial ties. That's bigger than what previous packages have tried to do.
And what's the tell? I mean, what's going to be the move from Tehran that would tell you that the pressure is landing versus the pressure is being absorbed? What are you watching for here in the coming days?
I think cleavages between the regular military and the Revolutionary Guard will be a big indicator. Secretary Bessent alluded to the end of the Cold War, when there were communist troops that were going through the economic catastrophe and were hearing orders from the communists at the time, and they chose to stop firing on their citizens and to support the people for a different path. I think that is the ultimate wish of this. It has the potential to deliver, but it really hinges on fortitude and really sticking to what this really means, rather than giving carve-outs to big powers, say like China.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to ask you about too, I mean, this just dropped this morning. Reports that the Trump administration is reportedly set to order diplomats back to their embassies across the Middle East. Is that wishful thinking by the White House, or is this war finally moving beyond kinetic fighting at this point?
Well, the kinetic fighting option remains. I think Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has made that very, very clear. But I think the president has made clear that we've done a tremendous amount to the strategic capabilities of the Iranian regime that mattered. The nuclear programs, the missile programs, doesn't take them to zero, but it buys time and flexibility. We now have a coalition maximizing economic pressure, and I think the president sees that as the ultimate next move to push through to maybe a new phase of where this relationship is going. In that context, hopefully the terrorism threats will diminish, and I think that's the reason to send people back to post.
Well, we'll be watching for next step there and what new developments pop later today. Steve Yates, thanks as always, sir, for your time. Good to have you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, today the last witness